Hello, this is DrGAKMAN here, Garrison Andrew Kane. Got a bit of a toothache, so pardon me if I sound slurred. But I wanted to go over um, the things that I got and some impressions that I got. I may even talk about E3 itself too, but mainly I'm talking about they called it Smash Fest. I believe that was the official name for it. Let me see here. Well, it's blurry and you can't see it there, but yes, it's the Best Buy event, Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS Smash Fest at Best Buy. Um, Up top, some of this stuff may be too late for some of you guys, but I'm recording this in between the time of the first one and the second one. They were having one on the 11th, which was a Wednesday, from 4 to close. Best Buy closes at 9. And then they were having one on Saturday, which is, I believe, tomorrow, yes, noon to 5. So they were 5-hour events. Basically, you went there to meet other Nintendo fans, experience the E3 thing, get some swag, and the main thing, play Super Smash Brothers, which they had on both 3DS and Wii U there to play. Before I get into the Smash Brothers itself, here's the goodies. Last year's E3, when they were having the Super Mario 3D World extravaganza to show off, they had these cat ears because there was a cat suit or a cat transformation, as some of them were calling it, to avoid the madness from PETA. But and they had 4 different ones. There was yellow for Mario. There was blue for the blue Toad, because red Toad wasn't in it, or the yellow Toad. And then they had Peach and Luigi, and they were pink and green. They had all 4 of them there, but I did not want to seem so stingy because they had like maybe 20 of these things laid out, and there was well over 300 people there. So I kind of lucked out just to get 2. The way they had it set up this year was different than last year. In some ways it was more organized, in other ways it was more astringent, you know what I mean? Like you could have access to the tables, but they had people there, and it was like they were about ready to slap your hand if you got stuff from the table. You were allowed to get stuff from the table only after you played the game, which for some people was, they were standing in line for 5 hours. We weren't there all day. I want to thank my friend Donald, who gave me a ride there. Last year, they had it locally in Dayton. They had it at Fairfield one, Best Buy. But this year, I called around and blah, blah, blah. The only ones that were available in Ohio were 6 locations, and none of them were near Dayton. In between Dayton and Cincinnati, though, there was the Tri-County one, which is the one that we made it to. And again, I thank Donald Blevins and everything. I'm so glad that he had a good time. I had a good time, but it was better last year. Got more stuff last year, met more people that were nicer about last year. There was more Smash heads there this year. It's a different audience than Nintendo fans. Nintendo fans last year were more a broader array of people. There was more girls. There was more younger people. This year it was more dudes. There was certainly girls there, but it was more guys than girls, and it was certainly more people a little bit younger than me, but not too much younger. There was some kids, but not as many as last year. Again, it's a different audience. Also, this was the first day of the event. Last year, I went the second day. The stuff that I missed out on. There was a Mario Kart 8 flag, which was very similar to the Mario Kart flag that I got from last year. As far as I could tell, there was only Mario, but there weren't very many of those, and they added those later on. The flag was much bigger, and it said Mario Kart 8 instead of Mario, just plain Mario Kart. Similar flag, but it was bigger. It said Mario Kart 8, blah, blah, blah. And then what else did I miss? The biggest thing that was there, which was not there. I did get to see it, though, but that was because the Nintendo representative had it in his hand. I kept asking him, or I tried to ask him some questions about the Yoshi controller to see if that was coming to North America, and he kept on saying, check Nintendo.com, blah, blah, blah. He can't say, they don't want to get in trouble. I imagine that it is, but they're just waiting for it for a specific time. I don't know if he was trying to give me a clue when he said, well, they announced the Yoshi's Woolly World. Maybe it might come out when Woolly World comes out, which would be, I think that's next year. I don't know if I can wait that long for that controller, but I also don't want to pay a bunch of money to import one that has Japanese writing on it, but whatever. Anyway, the biggest thing that was there, I was talking with him and trying to get information from him, and I knew I wasn't going to get any, but he did show me, I did see it for a peek, and so did Donald, the actual Smash coins. But the Smash coins weren't there. There was a lot of confusion, as these things usually have with fine print kind of stuff. We get into the coupons later. There's a lot of fine print there too. But I'm informing you guys to let you know, you still have time to go to the second event. It was fun. You get to play Smash. And these coupons are a really good deal. Of course, if you live in the Dayton area, you have to go all the way down to Tri-County to do it. It's about a 45-minute drive on the highway. And it wasn't too bad, but it still would have been more convenient to have it closer by and everything. So I tried to arrange a group to go, but it was just me and Donald. And I did see some people there from last year's event, which means that they traveled, probably even further, because they had to travel far just to get to the Dayton one, and then they have to travel further to get to the not Mentor, but the Tri-County one. But that's all beside the point. The biggest thing that was supposedly going to be there was the Smash coin, but you don't get it until you pick up the game. And they were only available at the locations that were doing the Smash Fest, which means that you had to pre-order the game there, be the first of 70, to pre-order the game there. They did not specify. I mean, they had pre-order cards, which I took for Smash Brothers for Wii U and then for 3DS. I imagine that even if you pre-order both, you would only get one coin when you go to pick it up. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe if you pick them up separate days or whatever. But you probably have to do separate pre-orders because it show up on the same receipt. Because the fine print is you got to have the receipt. You have to have been the first 70. You have to get it at the location that you got it from, because they were only going to have the coins at that location. And I'm not going to wait for Smash Brothers. When it comes out, I'm getting it, which means I don't want to have to wait for a ride all the way down to Tri-County just to get it. So I said, well, I'm not getting it. But to my surprise and delight, Donald said that he was going to pre-order it, and he doesn't even have a Wii U yet. I guess he was impressed by what he saw, and plus, he said that he wanted a Wii for his place. Currently, his girlfriend, Heather, has his Wii at her place, and the Wii U is backwards compatible with the Wii, of course, so blah, blah, blah. He asked me some questions about it. He thought about getting it right then and there because he had a Best Buy card, blah, blah. I don't want to give a bunch of information about him. I don't want him to be upset about that, but either way, he was delighted by it, and he's thinking about getting a Wii U, and he's already pre-ordered Smash Brothers on Wii U. So if he gets the coin, which he was one of the first 70, obviously, if he gets the coin, then he agreed to possibly sell it to me. Took him out to dinner because he gave me a ride all the way down there, and I really appreciated that. I had to miss work to do it, and I'm so glad that I got to go. You want to get into more of the stuff, though. Okay, so I went over these, and then the pre-order cards. Let me see what the back says. But yeah, there's the fine print on the back. Basically, you have to get it there within the time. You have to pre-order it there. You have to pick it up there, and that's when you get the Smash coin, is when you buy all the stuff. Here's the coupons in the middle. Now, I have these coupons. I don't know if they still have them laying around somewhere, but I called around because I noticed the fine print, and it says, must be used at locations, blah, 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 and then to check the website. And it's the same website that has, the Smash Fest thing, so I was like, oh, great. It's only going to work at the Smash Fest locations, which means I'd have to go all the way down to Tri-County. If I had the money, I would have done this, because I have new Super Mario Bros. U, I'm not really interested in the Olympic one, the one with Sonic and Mario. I'm not really into those. And then I can wait on the Donkey Kong. But the Super Mario 3D World, that's a $60 game. They had $20 off of that with this coupon. So if you guys are interested in getting that game, or any of those games, $20 off is awesome. That's like a third of it gone with this coupon. So go there. Even if you don't get to play Smash, or you just want to get in and get out, you can get this game for cheap. Brand new. Same thing with the system. If you don't have a 2DS or 3DS, or more likely you don't have a Wii U, $30 off right there with this coupon. But it has to be at that location. And the coupon ends on the day that the Smash Fest ends, which is tomorrow, the 14th? Yeah. So do it. Then there's 10% off accessories. But that's neither here nor there unless you need an extra controller or something like that. It's not really that great of a deal. And these were some of the characters that were, or these were all characters that were available to play when you played the game. But there was more characters there too. Off the top of my head, I can't think of them. We were trying to think of them while we were in line. And we stood around and watched other people play. There was one group of people that obviously wanted to play together. And so they waited in line so they could all four play at the same time because it was a four-player setup. And they all four chose Mega Man so that when they got the Smash Ball, they would get to see Mega Man's Smash Ball attack, which is pretty amazing, and everybody cheered when they saw it. It's basically, I think it's Zero, I can't remember if it's Bass or Bass or whatever, Mega Man X, the Battle Network Mega Man. There's like 5 Mega Mans that jump out all at the same time and attack, and everybody was excited about that. And people are big Mega Man fans. There was also a lot of Kirby fans there. I chose Samus the first time that I got to play. Well, basically they gave you 4 minutes, which was 2 2-minute matches, and I hate timed matches, but it was still fun even though I lost both of them. I got to play with Donald, and then there was 2 other guys there too. One guy that I was talking to a little bit about Smash Brothers. I was really worried, and this is something else that could be a concern for people who are thinking about going. I was really worried that it was going to be just Wiimotes. But no, they actually had the Wii U Pro controllers there to play with. And it's not too bad. I would say it's not as good as the classic controller because of the way the sticks are set up. And I say that it was, for people who are used to playing with the classic controller or the GameCube controller, it was not as good to play with the GameCube controller. I brought my GameCube controllers just in case they had the adapters there, but they didn't. And I also brought my classic controllers just in case they only had the Wiimotes there, which also they didn't. They had the Wii U Pro controllers to play with. So they positioned this kind of goofily too, so I was all the way on the right, but I was positioned in the first place because I was the first one to grab a controller when it was our turn. We got there about an hour and a half early, and we were 10 or 15th in line. Quickly, after we got there, there was, before the event started, I think it was at 4, there was about 300 people there, maybe a little bit less than that, but off and on there was about 300 people in line. They started getting people's names, writing people's names down to play, and then when you were right about to get into there to play, they had about 4 Best Buy employees with the 3DS one set up on Smash Run, which is an exclusive feature to the 3DS, which is basically, it's kind of like a training mode. You go through and you fight enemies, lots of stuff to do in that, and then you could, upgrade your character and blah, 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 and all that stuff. The game is going to be super huge and deep, just like, Brawl was, but it plays a lot more like Melee. It's faster, than Brawl is, that's for sure. But then they have the Smash Ball. They have a lot of other new items too. Everybody cheered when I got the they call it TV Games Tennis. It's basically the Nintendo version of Pong. But everybody's like, it's Pong, it's Pong, right? So, and that was pretty fun. And I also got Lugia Pokeball. I was pretty good with the items, and I was pretty good at putting the beat down on people, but Samus is not a good finisher. The 2 characters that I chose were Samus, and not pictured on here was Zero Suit Samus. I had saw the tournament before that they had at E3, and Zero Suit Samus looked pretty cool, but I didn't really get a lot of time to adjust. They changed both of the characters a lot from Brawl. I was a lot more used to Brawl, and this was like going back to Melee, and it was faster and everything. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying different controller, different playstyle. Even though I chose characters that I usually always choose, it was different, but it was really cool, and I still had a lot of fun, even though I was basically last place. I think it was 4th place, and then 3rd place the second time. Zero Suit Samus was just, I didn't know how to get back up on the stage. She has rocket boots now, instead of like a really, really high jump, and I didn't get used to that, nor the buttons that were set up. I wasn't used to doing the grab, because she has like a whip to grab back onto the stage, so I kept getting knocked off real easy. And then Samus, they kind of gimped her projectiles. They're not very powerful, at least so far in this game that I've noticed. And the first stage that we chose when I was Samus was the ring, because there was not a lot of stages to choose from. There was Battlefield, which we chose the second time, more traditional, but there was a ring from Punch Out, and that was pretty cool, but I couldn't tell where the bounding box of the stage was, so I didn't know. It seemed like you could walk off the stage or out of the bounding box, as opposed to falling off the stage. And then the ring itself, you could fall out of it and still be on the stage, so that was fine. Here's some more items. Smash Brothers. They had these decals. It's rolling up. I think he had these rubber banded together, so that's they're curved. I'm going to have to lay something on it to keep it flat. I'm going to have to find a place to put all this stuff, too, to display it. And then there was a Smash Brothers for 3DS and Wii U button, and then there was just the Smash logo. There was a bunch of Kirby, most of them were flipped over like this, and there was a bunch of different Kirby erasers, it looks like. These were really cool, but I only got to grab one. I didn't want to seem stingy. There was, as far as I know, there was 4 of them. There was one with King DDD. There was one with just a plain Yoshi. There was one with a yellowish golden Yoshi, or not Yoshi, gee whiz, Kirby. And then I got the Bell one. And then they all say Kirby Triple Deluxe on the back. Speaking of older games, they had stuff for it. They had Sticker Star, Paper Mario. And this, I think, was a pre-order bonus, but they made it to where, you have a playing field, or not a playing field, but a sticker book where you can take the stickers out and put them wherever you want. This was kind of cool. I imagine different events had different things depending upon what the Nintendo representative brought. I think it was the same Nintendo representative that I met last year, too. There was also a retail representative, too, that was not from Best Buy, and then there was also Best Buy people helping, too. These are Bravely Default cards. I'm probably not going to open this. I'm not really a Bravely Default fan, but it's a Nintendo thing, so. And then there was these Animal Crossing buttons. As far as I could tell, this was the only one that was there, was the Fish Maniac one. But I imagine, just like in the medals that you get in the game when you play, there are, what do you call them? Different ones for different activities. Like there's a Good Samaritan one, I think, where you help out villagers. There's one good communication, good housekeeping, good gardening, good bug catching, and all that stuff. This one was for the Fish Maniac one, it says. This I got last year. They had other lanyards there. As far as I could tell, there was a white one that I think said 3DS, but most people got those right away. They were just handing those out randomly all of a sudden, near towards the end of when we were there. It was right around the time when they added the flags, which, again, I didn't get a chance to get. If I would have gotten it, I probably would have given it to Donald, because I don't know where I would have put it, even though I would have liked it too, but he seemed to want it more than I did. But I couldn't sneak in there to get it. This lanyard, though, was the same one that I got last year. I wish they would have had more. I'm not really a lanyard person, but it was still cool to collect Nintendo stuff. The same one that I got last year, you can see it hanging up over here. Blah, 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 blah. I want you to see my collection. It's not ready to go yet. Hope you didn't see me in my underwear, but anyway, yeah. all kinds of surprising things when you watch these videos closely. It's not just boring. Wow, it's going over 20 minutes. I'm sorry. This same one that I got last year. I'm giving this one, though, to a friend who collects lanyards, nerdy ones. Her name is Chris. She said, see if you can give me something, blah, blah, blah. There's a couple people that were like, man, you got a lot of stuff last year. See if you can give me stuff. No, there was like 300 people there, and they were really, really astringent with who could grab what and when they could grab it and all that other stuff. I wish I would have gotten more coupons, and I wish I would have used the coupon thing there. I'm going to be working tomorrow, so I won't be able to do it tomorrow. And I was thinking about going today, but the problem is that I can't get a ride all the way down to Tri-County, and I don't want to bother with that just to get $20 off a game. And plus, I thought I could use it at other Best Buy locations, but no, I can't. Even though these things are completely accessible at those other Best Buys, they won't let you use these coupons. They only let you use them at the participating locations. They are good deal coupons, though. And they're obviously meant to be for people who just played Smash and they're on the high of playing it. And they're like, oh, I'm going to buy the system. I don't care. $30 off, bam, that's a good deal. So when you go to the event tomorrow, people who are watching this, if you decide to go, or if you can go, take advantage of these coupons. These are good deals. $20 off a $60 game and $30 off a system. Come on. So here's this stuff in its entirety, I guess. Not as much stuff as last year. A little bit disappointed. The game itself was really fun, even though I got last place basically both times. It was fun. I hate 2-minute matches. Really, the scores weren't that great as I was watching people play. They were just high playing the game, being excited. There were serious competitors there. I was certainly trying to be serious. I was kind of getting upset, falling off a lot. Because I was in the negatives, not because people were knocking me off, but because I was just not playing the game very well. I think also the Wii U Pro controller doesn't have a gauge. It's kind of like the Wii U gamepad, where it's just circular all the way around. And yeah, no, it is not gauged like, say, the GameCube controller, which... or even the Nintendo 64 controller, where they have the 8-directional gauge around. So smashing and jumping and everything was kind of goofy for me. I learned from a couple people that they actually jump with a jump button. I hate that. I jump with the stick. I can't jump with the jump button. It's more like Street Fighter that way, even though this game is completely different than Street Fighter. Oh yeah, talking about E3 itself, man, they had a bunch of other characters that were not playable. Like, they didn't have the Miis, they didn't have Palutena, they didn't have Pac-Man, of course. They had just announced that. I don't know if they did at the show floor at E3 itself, but at this event, they certainly didn't. And then they alluded to Mr. Game & Watch and Dark Pit, and I heard rumors of there being up to 35 slots. Unlockable characters, and then with these amiibo figurines that they got, they may even make it to where you can add more characters later on. They didn't talk about that, but they don't want to get into that just yet, because then people wouldn't buy the current ones. They'd be waiting for the the new characters that they could only get through the figures or whatever, if that's something that they plan on doing. Overall, this year's E3 was awesome. I think it was better than last year's E3, even though last year's Best Buy event was better, in my opinion, in some ways. Like, I went through the line, and then there was a bunch of people who I thought they were leaving, but they were actually signing up to come back later because they were open till 9. When we got out of playing, we went back in line because we're like, hey, let's play again. And they were like, were you guys coming back in line? Because we're done for tonight. I'm like, it's only like, I think it was like 6 or something like that, and they were like, no, we're done for tonight. So they were already booked for another 3 hours after that for all the people that signed up to play that were just leaving to go get lunch and come back or whatever. And I was like, really? So it was that quick that there was too many people to play. Which was cool that many people were that interested in it. But it was kind of hectic, and even though we were amongst the first 20 people in line, it still seemed like, wow, there's that many people that still showed up afterwards. I did see the girl that gave me the I believe I saw the girl that gave me the Luigi coin last year, but she was with some guy, and I didn't want to bring anything up. I really wanted to talk to her and thank her again, but and then there was other people there. I saw some customers from GameSwap come up there, so and they were there last year too. So that was pretty cool that they traveled all that far just to play, and I got to see them play, and I was a little embarrassed by my performance when I played. Donald said the same thing, but he doesn't play the game as often as I used to. I used to play it like religiously. And then people, even my best friend Josh, who, I think I tried to tell him about it, but all of a sudden him and one of the old buddies that I used to play up with at Inglewood, one of his friends, they were talking about coming down here or wanting me to bring my system up there, but I'm not doing that. Or coming down here to play. So I'm pretty excited about that if that's what happens. Because I haven't played with them in a while, and I really do want to practice a lot more. I started to test out the controllers that I was going to bring just in case I could use my own controller. I started playing a little bit of Melee, and man, I was rusty. I just haven't played in a long time. I really want to play a lot more, and I want to have more people to come over and check out my collection and play games with me. I've been getting more games and been getting back into games, less into people. I shouldn't say that, but less into worrying about finances and all that other stuff, because I've bought so many games and I haven't even played them hardly, and I want to get back into playing them again. I want to have fun, So, sorry for the long-winded discussion. Most of you have probably already tuned out or whatever. This is like 26 minutes long, and the video isn't very interesting. It's just me talking. But yeah, E3 was amazing this year. The event was good, and I would suggest going if you're a really big Smash fan and if you want to take advantage of these deals. But overall, it wasn't as good as last year's. Again, if I could go to the second day, maybe I would change my opinion, because probably the bulk of the people went the first day. But then again, Saturday, you would think more people would be off work or readily available to go to do this or whatever. But anyway, go if you can, if you've got the money to get some games for mega cheap, or the system for mega cheap with these coupons. Take advantage of that, play the game. It's really fun. And thanks for watching. Sorry so much for all the talking here.